Paradigm versus Sanguine is our next set for you guys at home, and Paradigm have the opportunity now to once again go top in Europe, totally. They're on 7 points already, and they find a 2-0 here. They're going to be on 10. Which
is a very dominating start for Paradigm. They're able to find the split against Energy. They're scrim partners, and this is why they're tied. Dignitas was able to tie with them, but their games are done for this week. It's up to Paradigm or Energy to topple over Dig.
And look at Sanguine as well. I mean, they just lost that performance against Energy yesterday, where we saw them really flounder quite a bit, and Energy really turned up the heat there. They've took a split with Cringe Crew there for their 1 point of the season so far, and started the season off against Dignitas negatively as well. So it's a bit of an uphill battle here, especially coming into Paradigm today as well.
Paradigm was able to find a very clean 2-0 victory against Hungry for More, the team that was the #1 spot in Europe coming out of the first week. They did have an easier matchup though, but against Paradigm, they really showed off their stuff.
They really did indeed, and then obviously they played Cyclone as well, and at the start of the week Energy, so good performances coming out from Paradigm so far. Let's see if they can continue this today up against Sanguine, and if Sanguine can kind of answer back from the performance yesterday. I mean, it's unfair to them in one way because they had to face both #1 and 2 seed coming out of Europe. Pretty tough test.
That's true, but the beauty of these sets is that you can forget about the last one because all these teams have a different style going into these sets. So you prepare picks and bans differently, you prepare your own strategy differently as well. So Sanguine, it's their time to really prove themselves against, I would say, easily #1 or maybe #2, but maybe even #1 depending on how they play.
Let's go to picks and bans and see if Paradigm do the same sort of thing that Energy did against Sanguine here. Because they banned Naja in the first phase yesterday. We saw Energy doing that against Sanguine. It seemed to work out very well for them.
It's interesting when you ban out Naja because it's not your typical high-tier god that you want to ban. Normally you'll see the Nemesis, the Alkwang, Susanoo maybe every now and then. But to have the Naja, that's a highly targeted ban.
It is indeed. I mean, they picked it up a couple of times. We've seen some Vulcan coming out of him and some Zeus as the real focus in the mid lane. But that's going to play Nemesis as well, Sanguine. But there is the ban again against Naja. Really surprised. Well, I say surprised, but very focused. And not normally you see that early on in the season.
It is Cherryo that normally likes to run Naja. Even without Scylla being the highly contested mid pick, there's still a lot of mages that can synergize very efficiently with the Naja. This also makes it a lot more tempting to go Vulcan with the turret. Now you don't have to worry about those ring bounces.
Well, let's see where else Paradigm go now, because they're going to get an option through for themselves here. And we do know QvoFred, very aggressive in the jungle, happy to play multiple different roles there if he wants to. Although, if Alkwang is left up, I'm pretty sure he'll take it. Alkwang on Nemesis is guaranteed to go through here now.
Absolutely. QvoFred, just a great jungler, great aggressive jungler. So he's going to be looking for those plays. He's not afraid to invade. He'll even play the Fenrir. We saw the one game time around. I think it was against Cyclone GG in the second game, where the first game it was just so dominating, and then the second they had Trixtank on Arlong Shen invade the red buff, and then QvoFred on the opposite side just being a big bully around the speed.
Well, we mentioned Nemesis or Arkwang would get through, and it was Nemesis that got through. It's Nemesis that is picked up as well. You mentioned Fenrir there, and for me, Fenrir this split not doing so well for himself. I keep seeing him very low on the damage charts throughout the whole games. So if I think the Qvo game is the only time I really show him shine.
He's more about that warrior in your face just to be a distraction. He has good base damage with his brutalize as long as it doesn't get interrupted, but he's all about trying to get into the backline, forcing the purifications with his Unchained. The Ragnarok can also hold out for the purification to find the pickup.
Well, Freya picked up by Sanguine there as well, which kind of means that Paradigm, well, they normally like to play Chronos if they can get to it as well for Funballer. We may see him go back to that again, but it's Freya and Neith, so their Hunter's pretty much locked in here.
I like the Neith snag up away from Paradigm. Picking up Freya instead of the Chronos for Sanguine means that Arkkyl would rather have that matchup than the Chronos, and now Paradigm, they're going to pick up this Bacchus Raijin. This is the 3-on-3 combination that screams all-in potential.
Every single time. The only change you can make from that Bacchus for Sobek, but Bacchus in the moment, if you're going to give Trixtank something in the Guardian role, you kind of want him on the Bacchus. Very aggressive playstyle, able to disengage and peel a little bit as well if he really wants to on the backside of things. Nice, easy start for Paradigm here. But it does mean that, you know, Sanguine can start looking potentially at manning out some of these late-game carries from the side of Paradigm.
They're going to have to worry about Trixtank on this Bacchus. I'm calling it now. It's going to be a first blood for Trixtank on this Bacchus.
Already?
I'm calling it now.
Where?
Get your points in now on Revlo.
Do you know something I don't know?
Nah, it's just Trixtank on Bacchus. Like he always gets first blood on Bacchus.
We'll see if we can do that then for this one. Ravana likes it for Sanguine here, and her banned out, and Hunbat. So we see the kind of things we expect here. Jungle focus from Paradigm, and obviously Hunter focus coming out from Sanguine, although they do take out Erlang Shen out.
It's going to be allowing Sanguine in the solo lane for Nika with this Ravana not to worry about the long-range poke from Shen. Probably going to be a Sun Wukong pickup for Xaliea. This is what he elected to do when he doesn't have Ravana or Shen.
And it's funny to see, I like what Sanguine did there by picking the Ravana for themselves here and then betting out the Shen. They're trying to force Xaliea onto something else other than the Ravana, which he's played predominantly for the whole season. And there's another Fenrir pick. Like I said, I'm not too happy about Fenrir just lately. I've seen a lot of different people play him, and his damage numbers have been very, very low.
I mean, at level 1 and 2, there's a lot of potential to look for the invades with Wrath specifically. You find the Unchained, which gets a lower cooldown. If you can connect it at level 1, between this Ravana and Fenrir, there could be potential to invade the solo side of Paradigm.
Well, the big baby's picked up there this time around as well. And with the Fenrir locked in, I think that's why you can guarantee the Vamana, because there's no Circuit going to be available for them to try and counter that one either. Paradigm will round things off with Ullr, though. No Chronos this game for Funballer. The rise of Ullr is coming back just because of those recent buffs we've been giving him.
It seems that Paradigm, they want to fight now, because the last set that they had against Hungry for More, it was Funballer that was playing Chronos, and he was very content about farming that whole set up until the late game. But now with this Ullr Bacchus combination, it's going to be Trixtank and Funballer looking for kills.
Well, Sanguine this time around, they're going to lock in Ares finally, and hopefully yesterday we did see them against Energy, and Murrdurr had a few connection issues of his own from where he was living, so he didn't get to play both those games. Sanjo stepping in for him, but hopefully he's back for this set and doesn't have any problems this time around.
Picking an Ares into a Nemesis is pretty suspect. Now, you prevent the double dash from Nemesis, but at the same time, if you're out of position from Paradigm, they're going to be able to collapse onto Murrdurr, no problem.
Well, let's see what they do at the beginning of the game here. Ward's going to be going down early on, it seems, from QvoFred over the wall at the speed buff as per usual. It's the only ward he's got in his inventory there. And I believe we saw Cherryo do the same sort of thing, but on the left-hand side of these left-hand harpies.
Cherryo holding on to his relics choices, waiting for the right opportunity, what he wants to do. Maybe he's talking to his team still. It's going to be the Purification, not opting for that Wrath invade. So it's going to be a standard start coming out of both teams, especially spotting the ward coming from Paradigm. And that's the key issue to what forced Cherryo into this Purification.
Well, we do see Murrdurr starting off this game with Blink, though, in the support role on the Ares, and that shows that he's going to go for a lot more aggressive starts early on. He's looking for that level 5 there, Toli, with the no escape, and more than likely, he'll be aiming at the man on your screen right now, Trixtank.
It's going to be hit or miss for Murrdurr, honestly. If he can't find those no escapes, he's going to get collapsed on easily by Paradigm, so I expect a lot of wards by Paradigm just to spot out the early rotations from Murrdurr because of that Blink play.
And you can just see the starts from both teams here. No invades coming out so far at the beginning of this game. Trix going to tank up the buff for himself as the others do the back harpies first of all, and then rotate round for them as well. This is pretty much the standard start we've seen all season long now.
Speed to blue, probably going to go to wave is the Fenrir. We're going to look to bully out because your level 2 play compared to Nemesis is vastly superior. You have more base damage from your abilities.
I want you to see how the junglers go into the solo lane here, you know, the beginning of the game, Tolly. It's mainly just to give him a bit more dominance early on through that first, you know, initial issue of the level.
But it seems that the Fenrir is more contempt about going for these right side mid harpies. The Neith was outpushed earlier on. Nice little belly flop from Trixtank, and this is the aggression that we know, and a nice stun to prevent that second chain. Now, even though it didn't prevent it from coming out, it disrupted the flow, so Murrdurr missed it.
Interesting from Murrdurr as well here. Started off with the multi-potions, not the mana potions that you generally see. Going for the extra health, expecting to be poked quite a lot in this lane. But that means he's going to be very careful with his mana usage as well at the beginning of the game, because if he does use too much, he's going to run out and just be sat there like a guy with nothing.
Well, he has the Watcher's Gift for the MP5 aggression yet again from Paradigm. Axton not onto Murrdurr, and this is why he connected onto the first two, missing out on the third. And the reasoning behind this health potion multipot for Murrdurr is because he's expecting a lot of minion damage after he connects these chains and the flames. The damage over time, he's going to have a lot of minion nagger.
Well, mana in this, overall in the mid lane, Paradigm there getting control of those mid harpies around the 5 elementals, so you can see their lead there. But there's the aggression again, chains onto Funballer, good poke damage from the pulse, but they're investing a lot into Funballer there, and the problem with doing that is that you've got no wave clear.
And Freya does not have an escape. There's no whoop potential. There's no mana. The first blood going to Funballer.
Very, very patient from Funballer there as well. You notice how he just held that last shot, making sure he 100% could confirm it, waited for Freya to walk back into it. Nice, easy pickup.
And unfortunately, Arkkyl went towards the right, and Murrdurr couldn't find the body block. If Arkkyl went slightly to the left, Murrdurr would have been able to intercept that last shot and prevent the first blood. Now Funballer going to finish off that Transcendence so much sooner, and it's going to be such a big bully.
You know everybody in Twitch hates you right now, Toli, because you told them all it was going to be Trixtank who gets first blood.
It's still Paradigm.
It's still Paradigm. All the elo.
It's still Paradigm.
Okay.
So they still get the Revlo points.
Okay, so you baited them into picking it, but it's okay. Welcome, congratulations, Twitch.
You saw Trixtank. He was good, probably, if he could have, he would have swung.
Oh, for sure.
He would have definitely swung for that last hit.
For sure. Well, the start of this game now off to a decent pace with Paradigm's dual lane doing what they should be doing against a Freya and an Ares in this lane, really dominating it. Expect to see them maybe rotate around for the red buff of the balls in the back of Sanguine's jungle now.
They need to figure out a way to extend this slight lead, and that's probably going to be camping out this Freya. Still level 3, Funballer now hitting level 5. His abilities are going to start hitting a lot harder, as we do have a rotation from Cherryo trying to alleviate this pressure in the duo, though.
It's a wise decision from Cherryo to rotate to this left-hand side, though, just to try and keep them a little bit busy, keep them on the back foot a little bit, get Freya online.
And that's what you have to do, just to make sure that your late-game magical hunter gets to that phase uncontested.
Well, back to farming he goes, and Trixtank still not finished just yet from Funballer, staying in lane just to continue to farming up. He should be close to that gold he needs to finish that one off. He's in the jungle, Lawbster level 6 alongside QvoFred. They are looking at the speed buff here, it seems.
Because they saw Cherryo committing to the left-hand side. Dodo going to start it up. QvoFred gets spotted by Cherryo, doing a lot of poke. The double dash, avoiding the jump from the Fenrir.
And there's a thunder crashing from Lawbster to confirm the kill. Backflip is down from Dodo, and that is a dead Dodo. He's extinct once more.
And finding the back right Harpies as they found the kill. Nice rotation from Trixtank, going to confirm the speed buff with Xaliea in addition. Blue buff probably going to get turned on immediately.
Maybe they should. I mean, it looks like for a second, they were going to walk away, but I guess they're setting up a trap here, Toli.
It's going to be onto Nika. Nice little zone from Xaliea. You don't really want to commit to this if you're Nika, with 3 members from Paradigm here. Great invade. Now they found the kill, the back rights, the speed, the blue, and now they're going to get the right mids.
And it's starting to get a little bit worse off for here now, because on the left-hand side, Funballer realizing he's under pressure. No purification available here. Going to get pulled in and pulsed for 3 shots. Great axe to slow down the pulse damage, but the Freya ultimate is there. World Weaver was there to confirm as well. Good little play from Sanguine. Funballer knew that was coming.
He did know, but he at least forced out a blink, 3 ultimates on top. The No Escape, the Freya ultimate, and the Neith World Weaver. He'll be very safe now once he respawns, and there could be an aggressive play in the dual lane for Paradigm now.
So what do you want to see actually coming out from Paradigm now because of that? I mean, obviously, like you said, we've invested 3 ultimates there. Should we be looking for a Gold Fury here, potentially?
Not necessarily gold at this point with no Raft to realistically confirm it, so you want to just keep extending your farming potential, especially with Ullr Transcendence. You have to build these stacks and look for the long-range poke. There could be potential gank with the Nemesis all-in potential.
I did like the call coming out from Sanguine there to give Arkkyl the red buff to help him catch up, but mid lane now, pressure onto Lawbster, not recognizing it, going to get chained, forced to purify, so he can thunder crash away, but a very good chain coming out from Murrdurr, but Murrdurr going to get turned on now, diving for the kill. He will pick up the mid laner.
That was definitely worth it, because now you're trading a level 7 support, and now the level 8 Lawbster hold that thought left-hand side. Nice rotation. Cherryo going to get stunned now from the Brutalize. Nowhere to go. Funballer getting the kill.
And now Arkkyl under pressure too. Still no ultimate available for him, but a good banish will slow Funballer down for a second. Trixtank going to tank up the tower. No pressure coming out from Sanguine in support here. TheDarkDodo does not have his ultimate available. Arkkyl will live for now. However, Paradigm holding that front line there.
It's so scary to be matched against Funballer's Ullr. You can't really stick onto him. You have to hold onto that Brutalize after the Axe Stun already comes out. That's a huge portion of your damage, even if it is level 1.
Quite fast-paced game so far between these two, but pressure still on the left-hand side. Looking at Arkkyl here. Flop off the mark from Trixtank. Don't often get to say that, but he did get the ultimate. Had to meditate in response, but coming around the corner again is Murrdurr. He's had a great game so far, and if you're looking for the chains.
You know, the World Weaver going to come out. The goal is to Trixtank. The World Weaver confirming the first, second chain, trying to go into Funballer off the mark. Now trying to find the kill onto Arkkyl, connecting on the Hail of Arrows, but not the first ability.
A little bit aggressive from Funballer this going over. He has purification though, so he can escape the no escape if he needs to. Still Murrdurr going aggressive here. And I love what we saw that Murrdurr one more time here, so we don't think we're going to see a kill on this side unless something crazy happens. So maybe he will now those chains. This is a mistake from Funballer. Trying to juke out everything, just got himself killed.
Funballer should have waited for the chains to come out before the axe threw out. He mistimed the cooldown, and now the nice counter rotation from Paradigm that tried to blink, but he was into combat. Nice pickup, finding Arkkyl and Murrdurr.
Well, they get 2 kills there on the left-hand side, and Funballer really didn't need to hang around, but by doing that, picks himself 2 up in response as well. So that wave will go into tower, delaying Arkkyl and farming up just a little bit more.
Dodo and Cherryo was able to push out the mid wave. They could have looked for potentially their own speed buff. QvoFred recognizing the mid and jungler on mid. Murrdurr and Arkkyl are dead. Red buff open. We're going to snag it.
So they do actually continue to extend the lead there off that Paradigm. I do like what Murrdurr did, though. I want to go back to that. That World Weaver coming through, he didn't immediately fire a chain onto Bacchus. He waited for the ult to hit. Confirmed the stun. It's an absolute guaranteed chain then straight after. And he got the kill because of it.
And not only that, he recognized it only needed 1 chain to find the kill, so he turned to Funballer to find the second champ. Unfortunately, wasn't on the mark, but the mindset was there. He's calculating to the point where he knows the damage of his abilities.
There is a problem though, Tolly, and the problem is that all those kills have gone to Murrdurr. That's the biggest issue I see. It's a great thing to have a damaging Ares that's doing well for himself in the game, but he's still 2 levels down on Trixtank, even though he's had 4 kills.
That's true. You want to get your Freya with some of these kills to get her into the late game form, get her that Fatalis that she needs to start boxing against the Ullr on Funballer. It's not going to be easy for Sanguine to hold on to this duel lane with the kills going on your support.
Well, first time out to the solo lane really to talk about that. It's just a pretty much standard matchup between the Vamana and the Rav. And we always say standard because generally not many people die in this lane, Totally. But you do see gold leads start to develop there, and it's mainly down to just push power, is it, more than anything else, or rotations? It's
more about the rotations, how effective you are at proxying between tier 1 and tier 2, if you're able to steal those back harpies in response, as well as any invades. And so far, Paradigm have been on top of the invades off of that early kill onto Dodo.
I will say we've seen Xaliea on that right-hand side, though, being very low consistently here. He's been very, very sketchy and dangerous in a lot of ways of how low he's been going in with, and actually not being punished for it by Nika or the rotation from Cherryo. As I say that, though, Cherryo does go over to the solo.
He recognizes just how low Xaliea is. They want to force out the ultimate out of this Vamana to allow Nika to just keep putting pressure, but a nice little back from Xaliea. His teleport's available. Now having Breastplate of Valor, the rotation from Cherryo not effective.
And they noticed what was going on there in the jungle there, so Qvo goes aggressive on to Cherryo a little bit more, but Qvo going to get hit by the Ragnarok and force the Purify away. Lawbster in support, and now the no escapes there. Qvo's in a lot of trouble. Going to ult onto Murrdurr to give him some sort of extra defenses, but there's Arkkyl with the damage coming out from Freya. However, Lawbster with a fantastic Drums of War going to zone him out. Nika still picks up Trixtank off this fight, though. It was a 4v5, and still Funballer was not there.
The goal was to go for QvoFred, but it was a nice meditation from Trixtank. The rotation from Xaliea is going to allow the Gold Fury to get started out. QvoFred going to tank this up. Funballer should be able to confirm it, but a nice rotation from Nika, and Paradigm confirm it.
They get the Gold Fury, but Nika's now going to fall down for this one as well. He does get picked up. Trixtank is the only casualty on the side of Paradigm. It's a solo lane up for a support, and a Gold Fury the way of Paradigm.
The mindset from Paradigm that they forced this objective because of how hard Murrdurr committed in the mid lane. There was no Ragnarok from Cherryo. It was a nice strategy from Sanguine. Okay, we're going to burn the Purification from Qvo, and then Murrdurr's going to find the pull, but then Trixtank keeps him alive with the meditate, only sacrificing his own life. And now as a result, Paradigm like, all right, they just wasted all their abilities. We're going to get Gold Fury.
I do like what Sanguine did, though. I think that was a really wise idea to try and get a Purification off somebody. That's what Fenrir is looking to do, and then have the Ares follow up, and you can switch that around as well. Ares into a Fenrir ultimate is the other option they could look for.
Yes, this combination between the Ares and the Fenrir has been effective, but the objective control from Paradigm just a slightly better with the invades, and now into this Gold Fury, heading into the mid game. 10 minutes in already, almost 4,000 gold up.
And not only that, they got those left-hand harpies now looking at the right just to continue extending their lead. You can see Qvo on this side against 3 or 4, but with the pressure from Paradigm in mid lane, he's going to get these for free as well.
Just going to be a rotation on the red buff instead for Sanguine. Want to make sure they keep the damage of the Lawbster with level 13 compared to the Neith. Normally you see the Hunters that are slightly ahead, but because of these aggressive early plays from Paradigm, they've been able to extend their experience lane on top.
Well, they might try the blue buff on the right-hand side here, QvoFred as well on the side of Paradigm. He's not been taken by Nika just yet. Xaliea pressuring under the tier 1 tower, keeping Nika at bay. Means it's a free rotation for Paradigm to continue just applying pressure, because right now there's nothing else for him to take other than look through the enemy jungle. Is anything up? Well, yeah, we'll just take it.
Yeah, Gold Fury is down. You might as well make a play in the soul lane. I like the rotation from the jungler support, as well as Xaliea staying in the soul lane just to make sure they call where exactly Nika is, and there was no possible response from Sanguine.
It's a little bit better of a start for Sanguine though this time around. Yes, they are behind, but it's not the same extreme it was against Energy in the first game we saw yesterday. It was a 15-minute surrender after Murrdurr was having issues. This game, Murrdurr definitely not having issues on the Ares.
Not at all, and it seems that Nika's having a few issues against Xaliea. The teleport is available for both of these soul laners. Poke going in the way of Xaliea now in the mid lane. Trixtank potentially looking for a
flop on Murrdurr, and great Intoxicate too. Lawbster, I don't even think he needed the armor, but it will help him out. Ragnarok though, onto Trixtank to bring him under tower. He's the tankiest target on the team, however, so he should be able to escape, and actually Trixtank getting rooted in place. One more hit should do it. Meditate comes out, and the bait on Cherryo is good.
Nice little bait. The Thunder Crash connects. QvoFred not able to find the slice and dice. The Sanctuary popped, as well as Arkyl's ultimate earlier on. The Axe missing on the side. Nika connecting on the root. Xalia's gonna fall.
And that was Xaliea trying to hold his ultimate. It cost him his life, and now Funballer under pressure. forced to purify away, leap down. Lawbster against 3 here, looking for kills. May have overstayed his welcome. He's still slowed. Nika's still giving chase here. Overhead kick will close the gap. Sanctuary burn, but the route is good. Nika picks up a kill.
Overall, nice rotation from Nika. I think that was a 2-for-1 exchange because they killed Murrdurr right off the bat. And that was the whole game plan for Paradigm with their 3v3 comp between this Raijin, Bacchus, Nemesis combination. We saw how quickly Murrdurr fell.
Making it a very messy game, both these two teams here so far. I think Paradigm are quite happy to do that, though, because it's not going to, as long as they don't lose too many kills in favor, there's nothing in the jungle for them to lose overall. So why not have these sporadic fights? Maybe be able to continue on the warpath of taking a tier 1 tower.
As long as they can get away from their engage, because they burned 3 important ultimates just to find the kill. Left-hand side, Funballer, nice axe done onto Arkkyl. There's not really much dive potential, but Harold, I thought Cherryo coming from the wall.
Nice, easy pickup for them over there. The problem is, though, is there's no minions here. Trixtank coming back to defend. May look for Cherryo here. Gonna flop. The Sanctuary gonna buy him a second, but Intoxicate still follows up. And big pickup from Trixtank there. Nice and easy.
Arkkyl just a little slow on the whoop, not able to really save Cherryo. So trading 1-for-1. Level 12 jungler for 13 Hunter, though. Still in the favor of Sanguine. They're trying to get back into this game, and by delaying the Funballer's ability to farm, this allows Arkkyl to get an advantage.
And it actually shows the ability of these two supports this game as well, because you saw it earlier on with Murrdurr picking up those kills, and now Trixtank there being patient, not throwing out the Intoxicate the minute the flop is used. So that's what a lot of Bacchus players do. You recognize the Sanctuary was used, waited, and then still picked up the kill because of it.
Paradigm are not stopping with these invades, recognizing that Cherryo is still dead, stealing the speed buff away. 2 levels ahead, now diving into the solo lane. The ultimate is available, going to be able to escape, but still wanting to dive.
Still wanting to dive, but I don't think Xaliea felt the same way about that one. Instead, he's going to continue pushing the tier 1 tower, and Qvo creates enough room for Paradigm to extend their gold lead.
Underneath, in mid lane, it's going to be a rotation from Murrdurr, maybe looking for Lawbster, but a nice delay tactic as he was getting the right side mid. It's going to be able to farm out mid anyways. The rest of the Sanguine squad is going for Gold Fury. They're going for that because they recognize that Xaliea and Qvo are on the right-hand side.
They are indeed, but for now, Gold Fury not spawned just yet. It's about to land. This Funballer doing his balls because he recognizes he's got a bit of time. Doesn't panic just yet. No purification, remember, on the side of him here. Has Sanctuary, however, but he does get away from the World Weaver, which means Sanguine will back up again.
I like the idea to try to burn out any sort of relics from Funballer to set up for an easier time in this next team fight around Gold Fury. Has respawned. Paradigm now with the opportunity after the speed buff finishes.
Well, the last time the Gold Fury was done, what you saw was a 4v5 that Paradigm kind of pushed Sanguine out of, and Funballer just rotated in for the Gold Fury at full health with the rest of his teammates as Sanguine backed. We'll see if it happens again this time round, though, because maybe a bit of a different story. We may just see a straight-up 5v5.
QvoFred and Trixtank are going to be grouped up together, looking for somebody out of position. Sentry Ward battle. Cherryo forced to disengage under the tier 1 tower. Lawbster has to back, though. He's going to try to finish off that Book of Thoth.
And this is what I was talking about in Picks and Bans here, Tully, as well, is the Fenrir damage overall. I keep seeing Fenrir in the bottom 3 consistently, and it's not picking on the Cherryo here. It's pretty much been every single Fenrir player I've seen this week. It just seems to be so low. He's not been able to go in for whatever reason and find damage. Something about Fenrir right now is just not working out in the Pro League.
It's just not able to find the right target that he really needs to go on, but Trixtank looking for the right target as Freya was slightly in position for the belly flop. Could potentially land onto Cherryo, forcing another jump.
But he jumps in towards Lawbster as well, who could continue to go aggressive and does so, poking him out a little bit more, forcing him back here. Axe all off the mark there from Funballer, overhead kick from Nika. Paradigm really want to bake them into a fight here.
Yeah, with Cherryo being poked out this heavily in the mid lane, this sets up the window for Paradigm to go for either tier 1 mid.
They're going to get tier 1 mid.
And that's exactly what they go for.
And it's very smart from them too, because what they did there was just keep them contained in the jungle. Now they can aggress here, looking for Murrdurr, who's isolated and alone, going to no escape, but there's no follow-up coming out from Sanguine. Now Xaliea to the front side of the big baby, going to force out the Sanctuary from the Dodo, and Nika trying to keep busy on the front line. He may be focused.
Nika has to be careful because the 5-man dive from Paradigm is good. Trixtank going to try to find a stun onto Dodo. It's going to be a backflip instead, and the rest of the squad just going for this tier 2 tower, getting this important objective.
And they take it in turns to go in and poke and disengage one after the other. There's the axe out from Funballer as well. Needs to watch himself as the rest of his team have left him there on that side, but just good play from Paradigm. Contain them in the left-hand jungle, take a tier 1 tower, and when they try to come out of that containment zone, they could lose a tier 2 if they do it wrong.
And QvoFred still feeling very frisky. Unfortunately for him, he was spotted with a nice, brilliantly placed ward from Sanguine. Speed buff still going to go in the way of Cherryo, and all that little tier 1, tier 2 tower shenanigans was attributed to just poking out Cherryo, to start it off.
Yeah, and keep the others in the mid lane, in the jungle, so they couldn't get to the tier 1 tower to defend. So without the gold fury even being taken there, Paradigm extend their gold lead and map advantage as well. Those 2 towers down being in the mid lane is very difficult for Sanguine to find places to fall back to.
This is the one advantage that Paradigm has, is the dual lane. The Funballer, Ullr on the Funballer, he's able to make these long-range plays, whereas Arkkyl, he has to commit to a team fight realistically. He can find a whoop setup for the rest of his team, but he's such a sitting duck when he tries to go for the whoop because Trixtank is going to be looking for him.
I think we're looking at Arkkyl as well to be this hyper carry late game for Sanguine because, you know, at the moment they're starting to struggle a little bit in these engagements. They're not winning tactically, objectively, I want to say. So it's going to come down to a bit stronger in terms of the team fight department. And when you're looking at team fights, you want a Freya on your team if you can have it, because the amount of damage as the game goes on will go through the roof.
But Paradigm recognizing this, they're just so smart about all these objectives that they're trying to go for. Even the ones that they weren't successful in when trying to go for speed buff sometimes, the thought process is still there. Holding off on the gold here, going for the more guaranteed plays, and this is why they're already ahead 7,000 at the 18-minute mark.
Well, Xalia's been caught once by not using his ultimate quickly enough, and now this time we see Cherryo rotate round again, looking for pressure. This time Xaliea well aware of it, going to pop the big baby early on in this engagement. They've got no tower to fall back to here, Sanguine as well. Xaliea does. There's no rotation coming up from Paradigm because they're focused in mid instead.
It's going to be at the level 12 Ares. Nowhere for him to go, electing to hold on to his ultimate. Nice little exchange, but forced to use the Nemesis and Raijin ultimate. This could be a team fight for Sanguine.
And that's surprising to see Cherryo on the right-hand side there. Honestly, like, he's trying to gank a Vamana at this stage of the game when Gold Fury is available.
Fury's up, yeah.
A little bit too risky coming out from Sanguine. They're trying to make something happen, but that's not the right call, I feel.
Not at all. You have to rather spot the rotation coming out of Vamana and maybe look for tier 1, tier 2 in response and forcing a disengaged fight with a 4-on-5 from Sanguine. Instead, they're going to give up the Gold Fury and they're going to give up tier 1 left.
Yeah, there's more pressure going on. You can see on the right-hand side, Cherryo still over there with Nika trying to push down this tier 1 tower. QvoFred there to defend, which means it's not answered back this from Sanguine whatsoever. Paradigm just continue marching on.
Failed gank, 2 free objectives for Paradigm, extending their lead to 10,000 gold. This is where Paradigm really shine, and they're not going to let go. They're going to keep their foot on the gas pedal as soon as they finish off some of these items.
Do see Pythagorean's piece coming out as well for Lawbster, and we saw a little bit of that yesterday. For you guys at home, if you've not seen this item for a little while, it has had a bit of a change in terms of what it does, and you can see it on the screen there. The power came down, but the aura actually increased, making this item a little bit more potent, not just for yourself, but for your team as well.
Especially with Trixtank onto this Bacchus, you want to give him that damage potential to really get into the back line, get off that huge, powerful Intoxicate, because we know Lawbster is not afraid to go aggressive. He'll Thunder Crash if Trixtank's about to belly flop in.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll see how that works out. Basically, the whole overall architecture of Pythag's piece there is the aura for lifesteal increased from 10% to 15%, and the aura for magical power increased from 20 to 30. So overall, a decent buff for this item, and like you said, for Bacchus as well.
Yeah, this is what Paradigm's strategy has been from the get-go. Just have Trixtank rotate around the map, look for these aggressive plays, which is why we saw QvoFred and Trixtank, you know, find the early speed and blue, and ever since that point in time, Sanguine, they got some kills, but they weren't able to answer back with any objectives of their own. All the towers are up from Paradigm.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw Cherryo jump over the wall there, got spotted out by Paradigm, who were waiting in the jungle. Now they've just left one member here at the tier 2 tower. The rest of Sanguine now trying to rotate round to support. Cherryo gone to farm mid lane instead of the time being. So it's a 5v4 at the moment. The tower being focused and nobody committing from Sanguine just yet. They're going to give it up again for free.
Cherryo was not in position. He was looking for the wraparound underneath. Did get spotted out by those 2 sentry wards. Immediately goes back to mid just to try to farm. He's 2 levels behind QvoFred. Now Paradigm, they're positioned around Fire Giant. They could potentially look for a bait, but they're going to go for the kill in mid.
And just look at the gold difference between Qvo and Cherryo here, and that's why Cherryo's trying to farm up to the best of his ability. He's just got no escape whatsoever.
Wow.
Bursted down in a matter of seconds.
Not even using any important relics to get that kill. It's just a beautiful stun, long distance from Funballer, setting up Lawbster. Even the purification was used from Cherryo, but it was just a little too late.
We'll say axes have been on the mark from Funballer today on this Ullr. I mean, over and over again we said axe connects. It's not something you often get to say, because most of them end up missing, especially with all the players you see playing. But Funballer going to start the Fire Giant here with Xaliea this time around. These two are just looking to do it on their own, and they should be able to overall, honestly.
Yeah, with nice positioning also by Funballer, staying in the accents just to get more life steal. And on top of this, they were both grouping up on left to allow the lava pools to stack on that side and then positioning themselves on the right so they wouldn't take that DPS.
Sanguine just doesn't have an answer here, totally. He's just clear as day with this. I mean, they lost a couple of team fights, they lost the Gold Fury, and then after that tier 1, tier 2 tower in the mid lane that went down, it just seems like they lost it.
It's just too much of a lead for Paradigm. They're 13th or 12,000 gold in the lead with Fire Giant. Experience gap about to hit level 20 is Xaliea. Already Lawbster at level 20 for a mid-mage Raijin. This is very scary for Sanguine. Murrdurr is just going to drop. There's, like we saw before from Paradigm, where they committed, you know, a little too heavily onto Murrdurr once or twice, and then Sanguine responded. But at this point, they don't even have to commit with ultimates to kill Murrdurr.
And you mentioned the level 20s on the side of Paradigm coming through here. Well, the highest level on the opposition team is Nika at level 18, and then when you look at the hyper carries, well, it's Dodo at 18 and Freya at 17 so far.
It's going to be very important for Freya to find the shots that she needs to, but everyone is so tanky on the frontline side from Paradigm. A lot of health on Vamana, obviously, with Frostbound Hammer. Also going for Witchblade, which doesn't have, you know, magical defense, but it lowers the attack speed against this magical Hunter Freya.
It does show me, though, the Paradigm's item composition here. Qvo is being pressured, forced to purify early. Ragnarok was held, though, from Cherryo. Going to bring him back to the engagement, but Lawbster is here. Going to channel the ultimate through multiple members. Murrdurr now with the no escape. Going to force Lawbster out of the purification, but Nika giving chase. Xaliea picks up Cherryo in the backside here, but still Lawbster gets out somehow.
That's going to be one kill. Cherryo finding his death. Xaliea is still in the backline, keeping Arkkyl, Murrdurr, and Dodo busy. His ultimate's not available, so he's going to fall. QvoFred trying to find a response, but nowhere in position. This is why Paradigm were not successful in the team fight, because Funballer is splishing on the left.
4v5 means a Phoenix is going to go down, and well, we saw Xaliea there just eat a whole lot of Arkyl's damage on the Freya. You can't stand against a Freya. You're not going to have much time to, unless you have some form of escape, and when the chains are on you, there's a big baby, it's going to go back to base.
And without the relics also from Lawbster and QvoFred, it's going to be difficult to really try to go for this mid and right Phoenix, especially against Cherryo and Murrdurr, who's always going to be looking to pull you closer to the team.
Well, they're just going to strip the jungle now, Paradigm, and once again, and a fight that goes in their way. Qvo going to ult onto Nika there, steal those defensive a little bit more, but a fantastic banish from Arkkyl here will slow down their advance for a moment. Now that Lawbster has joined them, however, well, they're going to be a little bit more careful again, Sanguine.
But this time, Funballer still yet again pushing down the mid lane, trying to get the minions to enter the Phoenix. Not going to be able to find the stun. Funballer barely able to escape.
Yeah, for now, and now the pressure's still on mid lane there. A bit surprised by that fight on the left-hand side, but Ragnarok and QvoFred should secure one kill onto him. Lawbster crashing in to try and help out his buddy. He's not going to be good enough this time. Xaliea back in the action with the teleport, though, running to the backside, going to tank up this second Phoenix of the game to Paradigm.
So even though they keep trading one death, they're getting a Phoenix in response. Last time around, they got left. This time going for the mid. I don't think they can go for the right quite yet. Fire Giant only on 3 members from Paradigm.
This is a bait from Paradigm, but Nika is behind them as well, and they're going to walk around the corner. It's a 4v5 here. To the sky goes Freya straight away to avoid some damage. Lawbster being focused down, and Lawbster's still alive some damn how. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a lifesteal coming into play from Pythag's piece. He's going to pick up another kill with his boys. Funballer credited for that one.
It was the meditation. Xalia's ultimate is still effective during the no escape from Murrdurr. Arkkyl barely able to escape during that little encounter. It was a nice bait play coming from Paradigm. And now with those 2 easy kills, they're definitely going for this right side Phoenix.
That bait worked out well. From tight under pressure now from 5 minions from the left-hand side. Minions in the mid lane are pushing 2. And nobody here from Sanguine able to stop this right-hand Phoenix by the looks of it. This will fall as well. And Paradigm in command and lead at 25 minutes.
It's all 3 Phoenixes down. As soon as the items are finished between these 3 members that got the last remaining Phoenix, they're going to go for the last ending push. Fire Giant's going to respawn in 1 minute. We're going to see just how bold Paradigm are.
I think they can be at this stage, though. I mean, they just 2-manned it last time with 3 on zone duty, totally. I don't think it's going to be much of a war if they want to just 2-man it again.
I mean, I think they're going to end. I don't think that they're going to waste any time to go for the Fire Giant with this kind of a late game.
I'm trusting you totally.
70,000 gold.
You said first blood to go to Paradigm here. You were correct. Okay? You might know the person who got it. So this time they're not going to go Fire Giant. It's going to end. Is that your call?
I think they're going to go for the win.
Okay, we'll see if you're 2-0 today or you're 1-1 so far.
Actually, no. I retract my statement. I retract my statement because the red buff's available. They're going to opt to go for this. They're going for the safe play, unfortunately.
I gave you multiple chances and you said yes and then changed your mind. It's too late. You're 1-1.
Why are they going for gold?
Why not?
Look at their items.
You upset about them going for Gold Fury?
I'm tilted.
You're tilted by the Gold Fury?
I'm tilted.
Well, that's how you do it, boys and girls. Do Gold Fury when you've pretty much got the game in the bag by the looks of it. But now that we know this game potentially is going to end very soon in favor of Paradigm, totally, what do we want to see out of Sanguine Game 2?
Game 2, specifically, it was just about giving up too many objectives to Paradigm. The early gank attempt from Cherryo on the left opened the door for an invade on the right. With a nice rotation, Dodo didn't really recognize that QvoFred and Lawbster were making the play. He got caught out of position. Xaliea made the rotation. Trixtank made the rotation. That 4-man collapse onto Speed and Blue was a really good enough early start for Paradigm to just exploit the rest of Sanguine the rest of the game.
So picks and bans-wise, you're happy with the picks so far this game? Did anything not work out as kind of expected?
Well, the fact that the Ares was last pick to try to counter this Nemesis and Bacchus initiation was a nice attempt, but you're obviously going to get dove on by Bacchus, Raijin, and Nemesis. So you're either thinking to yourself, we're either going to stop the initiation from Nemesis, or I'm going to absorb all these cooldowns, die, then have the rest of my team clean up. But that never really happened for Sanguine.
So if they want to go for this composition, going to execute it a little bit better is what you're trying to say overall here, because they had the same sort of idea. Murrdurr got off to a very good start with the kills that he picked up in the beginning of this, but they just never managed to find that 5-on-5 team fight.
Yeah, and the problem was that Arkkyl died too early in the game to Funballer, which gave him a decent power spike to go for that early transcendence. If Arkkyl never really had the power spike to go for that 1v1 play that he needed to.
Well, Fire Giant is online now for Paradigm as we saw them take it down. The left Phoenix has respawned and they're heading straight to that side. One more time, Paradigm is a 5-man unit. Blinking from Murrdurr, going to get a no escape on 4 targets, but before he even goes off, he's dead. Flop onto 2, going to force them out. Arkkyl to the sky, backflip out of Dodo. Lawbster on the back though with the drums of war, and he's looking to zone out Sanguine for the win.
But all the sanctuaries were used, doesn't matter. QvoFred going to find the cleanup Arkkyl in his own fountain. Paradigm looking for farming more player damage as the left side Phoenix falls, and now they're going to go for the Titan.
And the Titan will fall down very, very soon here if Paradigm would just choose to focus on it. Look like they're trying to stat pad a little bit and overall, and Xaliea definitely stat padding after his second death of the game. We'll get 2 kills to even that out in terms of his KDA. 19-10, 28 minutes. Paradigm take the 1-0.
There's such a dominating performance, not only this game by Paradigm, in their last set also against Hungry for More. They're just rolling off of this momentum. Really, it's just a dominating performance. Getting this 1 point at least guaranteed now puts them at the top. They could find 2 more though.
They could find 2 more points to take them to 10 points, but they've still got other games going on today as well where we could actually see the other teams continue tracking pace with them as time goes on, especially Energy versus Cringe Crew and Dignitas versus Cyclone, I believe, are the 2 we've still got to come today. But that's only game.